And welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. An IRS whistleblower is alleging obstruction of justice by the Biden administration after Biden's DOJ goons, including Merrick Garland, removed an entire IRS team investigating the president's dysfunctional son for tax fraud. It's just one of several whistleblower allegations of corruption for the sitting president of the United States that are all being swept under the rug by Democrats and the media that they control. An incredible assault on democracy happening right before your eyes. The mainstream press continues its mission to protect Joe Biden and conceal his many potential crimes. This level of corruption and media cover-up only possible in a country that is this divided. This is why corrupt politicians sow division. It provides them so much cover. Less than a month ago, this unnamed IRS whistleblower reported preferential treatment in politics, improperly infecting decisions and protocols that would normally be followed by career law enforcement professionals in similar circumstances if the subject were not politically connected. They alleged something was clearly holding the case up that they were working on. The evidence that they were finding wasn't going anywhere like it should, like it would for the rest of us, or for that matter, for a Republican. Soon after, the entire team investigating Hunter Biden's tax fraud case was completely removed. This is what a dictatorship looks like. And most Americans, I guess, will see is that Biden's mouthpiece getting in front of the country and insulting them with such blatant lies on exactly the matter. Take a listen.
The president respects the rule of law and the independence of the Department of Justice. He believes that's what they should be. In this administration, we believe that it should be independent. So I'm not going to go beyond that. The Department of Justice will certainly deal with this issue.
Can you imagine believing that? The DOJ certainly is dealing with this issue, to say the least. The truth is the Department of Justice has become radically politicized under first Barack Obama and now Joe Biden, which is Obama too. Biden's former Attorney General, Eric Holder, once called Obama his wingman. Biden and Garland have the same relationship. It's clear. The IRS whistleblower's attorney says removing the team is retaliation for the original allegation that the investigation was being corrupted. Quote, removing the experienced investigators who have worked this case for years and are now the subject matter experts is exactly the sort of issue our client intended to blow the whistle on to begin with. Yesterday at the White House press briefing, not a single question was asked about a credible IRS whistleblower and their team being removed from a fraud case against the president's son by the president's administration. Nobody asked the question. Nobody. It's amazing. And this is the softest allegation that Biden's faced, the only one that doesn't implicate the president's foreign dealings. By our count, there are 5 whistleblowers alleging Biden family corruption right now. 5 different stories that would be exploding and opening voters' eyes to the president that they elected. 5 stories that would hurt his chances for re-election dramatically if only this country had a free, fair, and honest press. Just imagine this story with a Republican in the White House. In addition to the IRS whistleblower, former U.S. Attorney Bud Cummins brought allegations that the Bidens took money from Burisma in Ukraine for help in getting the heat of a corruption investigation off the company's back. Soon after, Biden dangled $1 billion over the president of Ukraine's head and got the prosecutor fired who was looking into Burisma, and then he jumped on TV and bragged about it. You've seen that clip many times. Cummins says the FBI has been sitting on these allegations since 2018, and a Ukrainian prosecutor was denied a visa to come to this country to testify about it. They don't want to hear it. A Romanian whistleblower alleges a rich, corrupt oligarch hired Hunter to get him off the hook with his own government, investigating him for a corrupt land deal, a $3 million deal for the help of a crackhead. And soon after, Joe Biden invited the Romanian president to the White House and spoke about corruption in Bucharest while he was vice president. Whistleblower Tony Bobulinski alleges Joe Biden was critical in massive deals for Chinese money after he denied knowing anything about Hunter's deals, millions and millions of dollars. And finally, an FBI whistleblower alleging the Bureau is in possession of a document proving Biden has taken money in exchange for actual policy decisions. The big document, a document the FBI refuses to release. and the director claims he can't talk about.
I can't speak to the specific document. We are committed to working collaboratively with both committees, but we also have to balance sources and methods in ongoing investigations.
Swampy, swamp, swamp. If you're curious why the FBI seems to sit on evidence of Biden corruption for years, one case since 2018, why investigators and investigations seem to go nowhere on this, just look at the sworn testimony from former CIA Director Michael Morrell, the man who pushed so hard to get 51 intelligence officers to swear that the Hunter laptop story was disinformation. Here's a quote from a former CIA director. "There were two intents. One intent was to share our concern with the American people that the Russians were playing on this issue. And two, it was to help Vice President Biden. Why? Because I wanted him to win the election." Isn't that something? Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins me now. And sir, it's good to have you on. 5 corruption whistleblowers for the president of the first family, all allegedly are credible. We have an IRS employee, we have former U.S. attorneys, a former U.S. attorney, 4 nationals from Ukraine's government, a Romanian. It seems very clear what's happening here.
Rob, I can remember when Democrats loved whistleblowers. They just couldn't get enough of them to come before Congress. And now they don't even know what a whistleblower is. They think they're horn blowers in a marching band of some kind. It's embarrassing for the country. You did a great job of pointing out that it's not just the fact that there are government officials who are stonewalling and politicizing and weaponizing the Justice Department and the entire rule of law. But I think you did a great job of reminding people that one of the reasons that this continues to happen is because the press have simply turned the other way. They couldn't care less that there's this level of corruption going on. And I think both of us certainly remember a time when there would be enough curiosity and cynicism in the press, regardless of who's in office, regardless of Democrat or Republican, that some young, ambitious reporter would say, my gosh, I could get a Pulitzer for this. Now we know that you can get a Pulitzer for lying. That's what the Washington Post and New York Times did. They got Pulitzer prizes for lying, for absolutely making up a story based on 100% lies that Hillary Clinton cooked up in her kitchen of doom. And I guarantee you, it's the only thing that Hillary Clinton has ever cooked in her life, is the crazy nonsense that led to the phony dossier and the investigation and the false narrative that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians, which we now know he most certainly did not.
And when you talk about, I think the most brilliant thing that establishment Washington did was to bring the media, which as somebody that's been in the media for over 15 years now, I know who these people are. It's a very insecure group of, dorks from high school that just want to be in the club. And when establishment Washington brought them into the club, they immediately, they're pawns for them so quickly. You see them at these parties. They have, Biden's coming to the big event and this and that. They're all in the same group now. So how do you report and how do you hold to account the people that have, it's like the cool kids embraced you. Like, you don't want to go tattletale on the cool kids now because now you're in the club.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. And, if you can't sit at the cool kids' table, you're going to be labeled a nerd. These kids grew up as nerds. They're still nerds, but they now pretend that they're cool kids. And as long as they get invited over to the Georgetown cocktail parties where they can nibble cheese and sip wine, they're just as happy as they can be. And their integrity just simply doesn't matter.
Right.
They like being on the inside, and they are. But what they're doing is really fulfilling what Donald Trump said about them. It sounded outrageous at the time when he said the press has become the enemy of the people.
Yeah.
But the press is the enemy of the people when they don't tell the truth about what's happening in the country, regardless of who it makes look good and who it makes it look bad.
Yeah.
We just need the truth. Let the people decide from there.
Exactly. And they embolden the worst actors when they don't hold to account government, because not all the government is bad, but the worst actors get so much worse when they realize they can. And that's exactly what's happening. Former Governor Huckabee, thank you so much for taking the time.